What's good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down some very important data coming out for tomorrow and what's going on with some news about Tesla. Let me first mention that I am not a financial planner. Take nothing I say as financial advice, and then don't forget about the Webull link. The offer ends very soon. Deposit $500 and you're guaranteed 20 free stocks. There are only 3 days left. Anyways, for Tesla, we're actually holding up very nicely. We got a little dip back down to 194, and we ended up holding support very, very nicely right here. Had we lost the support, we'd be dipping down to 191.6, but we held support very nicely, and Tesla's getting a nice rebound towards the end of the day, which is showing more and more strength and more signals that Tesla wants to push to the 200s. So it still looks bullish to me. It's holding up very nicely, and so is, I would say, SPY and other tickers as well. But I want to talk about some news and something about tomorrow real quick before I break down more information about the stocks. Tesla is now distinguishing its cars by battery supplier for tax credit eligibility. This is good news because what's going to happen is when a lot of people are just on the website and they're trying to buy their Teslas, this will give them more and more insights on whether or not their Tesla, what kind of model, what kind of variants, if they will qualify for the federal tax credits. And that's going to provide a lot more incentives for them to buy things, buy different plans, get everything together, look at certain models. I think that's very, very useful, and that's going to help incentivize a lot more sales, at least in the USA. So I think that there's also a lot of ignorance about, the affordability of EVs and stuff that still gets out there. So for people who go on Tesla's website, which gets millions of views per day, this will help give them more insights on it, spread more knowledge about the affordability of them, and also give them more and more incentives to buy their Teslas now that they could see if their car will qualify for the tax credit. So very, very cool stuff. Tesla noted that it managed to get its Model 3 long range to get access to the full tax credit. Before that, it was more expensive because of the fact that it wouldn't have that. So that's very useful. And don't forget that the tax credit depends on the supplier of their batteries and other factors like that. So that's why it's very important. Good stuff for Tesla. Anyways, there is something else I wanted to talk about that's going to be for Friday. Friday being June 28th, 2024. 1 hour, okay, 1 hour before the market opens, we have the PCE data report coming out. This is going to be another very important inflationary measure by the Fed. It's going to give us more insights on how things are looking for inflation. Now, I don't know what the numbers will be specifically for this or how close they'll be aligned with expectations and such, but I do want to note that when CPI came out, the numbers were decent. Okay, they were decent for the month of May. And then with PCE coming out once again for the month of May, this will give us more insights on how things are looking. We'll see how it ends up going for this. There's a good chance it's going to be, I would say, decent overall. But the question is, how decent will it be aligned with expectations? Because just because it decreases or just because it's like decent, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be perfectly aligned with expectations. It's not always a guarantee. So I don't truly know what the numbers are going to look like going into tomorrow, but it's going to cause a big move in the markets. Is it possible they try to squeeze shorts? That I can't promise. We just have to wait and see. Historically, PCE and CPI have very, very high correlations with one another. They tend to move almost the same. So, with CPI kind of decreasing a bit during the last report, there is a chance that PCE could follow the trend. So, I'm anticipating decent numbers. I just don't know if they will be below every expectation. We'll just have to wait and see on that. But that's my warning for everyone. So, if you are holding anything overnight on Tesla, on SPY, the QQQ, whether you're trying to play futures or not, just know that holding these positions overnight has its risk because of the fact that we don't know what's going to happen with the PCE data reports. It's not a guarantee, and you have to be very careful when kind of playing it. So keep that in the back of your mind, guys. We'll have to see how things kind of go from here. But looking at Tesla, despite that, we still look very bullish on Tesla. We're holding up very nicely. When I hide my indicators and zoom out, you guys can see it's forming a very, very nice looking accumulation structure right here trying to break out, and then reverse head and shoulders remains, so it's still gaining a lot of strength, lots and lots of momentum, and I think that this thing was going to be squeezing to the 200s very soon. So if we get a pump tomorrow, we could be going to the 200s depending on PCE. So far so good from Tesla. How about for SPY? Now SPY is still in the middle between supply and demand. We still have resistance at 547, we have support at 543, kind of in the middle. If we get a hot PCE, we're going to get a rug pull. We could even lose 543. If we get a decent one, we could be pushing all the way up to 547 plus. One thing I want to call out on SPY is this. When you look at the 30 minutes time frame, I just noticed this. Just like this, it kind of looks like we have an inverse head and shoulders developing on SPY. So this could suggest we're about to get a break to the upside, which is going to be very ironic. They could be trying to squeeze shorts. Who knows? But I'm not going to worry about just the pattern. I would say let's see if we can break 547 or not. That's going to be very important as well. For Nvda, Nvidia's been trading very, very sideways, very, very flat right now, so it's still indecisive. If we lose that 122, so probably looking for a much bigger drop. If we break past it, I'll be looking for a break of the 126 area. If we break that, we'll be looking for a big push back up to 130. So give this some time, and we'll have to see how things go from here. For Bitcoin, Bitcoin has attempted to break out towards 62,400. We came back down towards our 50 EMA. That's going to be 61,500 around this range, which we're retesting. Could bounce back here and try to break out higher if we end up getting that move. Forming a nice double bottom, I think that there is a chance Bitcoin could try to rebound a bit and start to trend a little bit upwards, but I need to see it close, or not close, but hold above its 200 EMA. So I'm waiting for that a little bit longer. For um for the QQQ, excuse me, we're forming a very, very nice looking inverse head and shoulders as well. So this does look a little bit more bullish, but I need to see us break 484. If we break that, then we're going to be looking for all-time highs again. Otherwise, we're still kind of stuck within this range. We haven't broken 484 yet. Our supports, if we end up losing support at 480, we could come back to fill the gap at 478. And if that fills, this will be dipping all the way down to these lower levels. But overall, we're actually holding up quite well. I think that there is a chance this could try to push higher towards 482 than 484. Looks a little bit more bullish, technically speaking, but we'll just have to see if that continues. Apple's also holding up decently. We simultaneously have a nice, accumulation structure right here. This is forming kind of like a cup. And I think that if Apple could break past 216, we're going to be looking for a push to all-time highs. Otherwise, we're stuck between 212 and 216. It's been like this for the past 2 days. So I'm going to give this some time. If we lose 212, we'll be looking at 210. So we'll see how that ends up going. Supermicro got a nice breakouts today. We had a nice trap. This head and shoulders was actually forming a trap for it, but instead buyers are defending it. So now that we're trying to fill this imbalance, I think that 900 is a potential target. Could go a little bit higher, and we'll see how it ends up reacting to 900. I still see potential for that to end up getting met. For Coinbase, we're also bouncing right here. We managed to break past this resistance at 223. We have this gap to fill at 225. We're basically doing that right now, so it's a good sign. And we have a nice double bottom structure. This could continue to push towards 230 plus, so we'll see how things go from here. For Amazon, we're continuing to pump. 200 was our target. We ended up going all the way up there. Is it possible we kind of like retrace a bit to retest our 20 EMA? It is possible, but we love to hover above this, especially on the 4 hour. Let me just bring this up to you real quick. On the 4 hour, excuse me, on the 4 hour, we're looking very strong. We could retrace a little bit, retest 196 or so before we try to continue higher. But overall, we're still looking very strong on Amazon. Just know that 200 is going to be a tough resistance. Meta is pushing nicely, still looks very strong. Could be hitting 520 all over again. Not bad whatsoever. Microsoft could dip a little bit more. I could be looking for a retest of 450, very close to our 20 EMA, then a bounce again. But we're riding the 20 EMA, the green line, we're riding this up. We do not turn bearish unless we break this. So we could retrace to it and then try to bounce again. It's still looking bullish. Google's also breaking out. We broke past 185. So instead of kind of consolidating, this actually went higher than I was expecting. So I'm going to be looking at this wick right here. We could be retesting 187.5. It looks a little bit more bullish. GameStop is showing some life, but we need to see this thing break past 25.5. If we break that, we're going to be looking for a much bigger push towards 30. Looking pretty good so far. AMC is also trying to break out. If we manage to break through this, we'll be looking at 4.9 as our next resistance and eventually 5. But we need to see a close above 4.74. AMC is building some momentum as well. So for the market, we're holding up decently. Tesla's building a lot of strength, and we are looking a little bit more bullish in terms of these setups. However, like I said before, do not solely trade patterns. You'll also have to manage risks, not financial advice, but I would manage risks because we don't know what's going to happen with PCE. So heed my warning that this data is coming out tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen. Yes, the setups look a little bit more in favor of bulls, but nothing is going to be guaranteed. And we have to wait and see what the data gives us for tomorrow. So keep that in the back of your mind, especially if you're holding anything overnight. Okay, guys, so that's my warning for everyone. Please have a great day, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Thank you, and peace out.